Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix, Sileo, Tales of a New Dawn. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon. $5 a month, $54 a year. So, last Let's Play, we went up to Ty, who was singing a sad song and thinking how to, finish that song off, and went, "Hey, Apollo." Yeah, we went to talk to him and found out about all that stuff. Here's your birthday presents. What's gonna happen with the name of the bands? It's kind of weird now that I think about it that we haven't really talked about our relationship, really. I guess, because, now Ty is recounting us about a time where where he was, 20-something years younger, and in a mall encountering Spencer for the first time when he was a wee tyke. All that good stuff. So, yeah, I guess we continue. Hey, what's that face? Well, actually, just let me type in this one message. Oops, my bad. Just say night-night to me mumsy dearest. Okay. You do not know it now, but it was not long ago that Woodcrest was only a tiny settlement housing a mere few thousand residents. It was a tightly knit community where everybody knew everybody else by name. I wonder what would count as a few thousand, because I lived in a town of 5,000. We didn't have a mall, though we did have a town square. And a hotel. And for reference, because I feel like I'm part away from it, it's Alpine in Texas. A tiny little town with 5,000 people. Which reminds me of Echo. Well, actually, no, it doesn't, because Echo has... I'm not sure how big the town of Echo was in the Smoke Room, but in the game of Echo, the town of Echo is less than 100 people, and it's how? So when the news came out, the entire shopping mall's opening in Woodcrest, of all places, is quite the big deal. The excitement in the air was the grand opening getting close. Excitement in the air as the grand opening grew closer. It was positively electrifying. That's a weird way to put a sentence. Once the day had long last arrived, there was barely a solitary soul that hadn't come to join the festivities. In fact, there were considerably people present on that day. The entire population would crest the time. I think it would be considerably more. Print screen. Might be his wording style, but still it's that burns my brain. Scattered among the crowd were residents of nearby towns, such as Somersville, who came to witness the opening firsthand. To this day, Somersville does not have a mall in its own town, but among the many souls present was a doting grandmother and a rather excitable grandson. Can you see Tiny Ty? Gran had attempted to convince me to remain close by her side, but with all the noise and stimulation, I simply could not contain myself, and so she securely clutched my hand as we were navigating the milling crowds at the snail's pace of a small child's stubby legs. Baby Ty? Baby Ty! He's so small! Gran, I wanna see the, Hey, it's, Grandma Ty. You wanna see the arcade, Ty? It does look rather exciting, doesn't it? They have this new thing called Pac-Man and Tetris. I guess Tetris might have been quite a bit of time before Pac-Man. Yes. We never had TVs when I was a child. I got my very first black and white set as an adult. Back then, I could never have imagined the day would come where you could control what happened on the screen. The marvels of technology. What will they think of next? Well, there's this thing called streaming. But man, I remember black and white TVs. I can't exactly remember if I ever encountered a black and white TV, but the thing was that it's like, there was still kind of a topic of discussion in the 90s. Ah, but look, Ty, do you see that long line of people by the door? We may find ourselves waiting for a very long time. But what do you see? I've got these big old eyes. I know you do, little one, but so does everyone else, and they arrive before us, so you know what that means, don't you? We must exercise our, patience. Well done, but we must exercise our patience, yes, we must. Perhaps later on, the line will have gotten shorter, and we won't have to wait so long. Oh, I want to go see now. Remember your patience, sweetie. Good things come to those who wait, like boyfriends. Children are nothing if not dramatic, and I was certainly no exception. Being denied the flashing lights and exciting sounds that beckoned from within the arcade, I promptly burst into tears. Yeah, I know that feeling. Oh, honey, there's no need for tears. Gran knelt to my level and wiped the tears from my eyes with a kindly smile before engaging her plan to cheer me up right back up. I'll tell you what, why don't we get yourself some lunch? I'm sure you must be hungry. It's your choice. What would you like to eat? McMelvins. McMelvins? Again? But you had McMelvins yesterday, sweetie. I want it again. But Ty, look at all these brand new restaurants. Why not try something new instead? But I want McMelvins. Oh dear. In later years, she referred to this phase of my early childhood as the gremlin phase. And looking back, it is not only quite easily to see why, but I can hardly think of a better descriptor myself. She pretty much invented the gremlin phase phrase. Patience was among my many weaknesses, but thankfully for my young self, Gran's patience was a seemingly endless supply. It was the furthest thing from an easy child, I was the furthest thing from an easy child to raise, but Gran was nothing short of a total saint. I have always regretted that the inevitable forbearance she had worked so tirelessly to instill in me would not take hold well into my adulthood. And, well, after she was no longer around to see it finally happen. Having gorged myself on french fries and chicken nuggies, my craving for McMelvin had long last been sated. For now, the most exciting new stores remained besieged by enormous swarms of excited shoppers, swarms that simply were not navigable by small, feisty child and his elderly grandmother. You know, I already forgot that, like, we were setting up the story of how he was going to meet Spencer or Solomon. It's like, I just find it funny that's like, I'm gonna tell you about this about Solomon. When I was a child, there was this mall that was opening, and we went to the arcade, but then I wanted chicken nuggies, and she called me Grenla, and then I had these chicken nuggies. It's like, Solomon? Thus, Gran had done her best to keep us busy as we passed time, praying that the crowds would eventually subside. Alas, the high foot traffic restricted our options to the things that would drive a small child mad with boredom, like shopping for clothes, groceries, and kitchenware. Oh, what a lovely set of drinking glasses, and so affordable too. I can't believe my eyes. There must be some kind of mistake. Do you ever remember something you did as a kid and feel ashamed of it even now? I think most people have at least one or two moments like that, but for me, it's practically my entire childhood, and this exact moment was no exception. Though in a way, I'm glad that happened. The set of drinking glasses she had found had captured Gran's attention, but it was a rather sizable set containing a great many glasses, some of which I keep in a cupboard at home to this very day, though there's a slight problem. She was going to need both hands to lift the box. Normally, there would have been no problem when she briefly released my hand so that I could place her brand new so that she could place brand new glasses on the copying chart. Normally, I would have stayed put, like she expected me to do. Alas, I was a hyperactive child, and the depictions of monsters and dragons that lined the inner walls of the arcade had stirred my imagination. Worse yet, I was hopped up on McMelvin's, and so Gran turned it back for but a moment, and when she finally turned back. Actual glass, and look at these gorgeous inscriptions. Maybe I'll finally retire the mismatching set I have accumulated over the years. Yes, I will now have a set of these. What a bargain. I could get used to these savings. Now, little one, did you want to go stop? Ty? Where on earth have you gone? Ty! I had seen my opportunity and wasted no time getting away, making a beeline for the entrance of the department store and disappearing into the turgid crowd, which swallowed me whole like a ravenous beast. Ty! Ty! Oh no! It's so crowded today. How will I ever find him? I feel guilty about making her worry like that, perhaps even more than ever, despite the event being 32 years behind me. I'm sorry, Gran. I never wanted to scare you like that. She would abandon her cart along with a set of glasses she had found, and she would only buy the set months later, having liked the opportunity that day to return to the store. Her first instinct was to intercept me at the arcade. But I'd never arrive at the arcade. The crowd, which I had become immersed in, obscured my vision and repeatedly knocked me off course, and combined with my unfamiliarity with the mall's layout and the child's sense of direction, or lack thereof, it had always been a long shot, to say the very least. And I cannot recall exactly how long I fought the current crowd, occasionally being spat out in new and even unfamiliar parts of the mall I had not yet seen, only to be sucked right back in moments later. My defiant determination quickly gave way to unease and fear. Eventually, I began trying to retrace my steps, hoping I could find the department store from which I had fled. But by some miracle, I eventually walled my way back into the very store, and even found Gran's shopping cart, abandoned, with drinking glasses still contained within. By now, I'd grown somewhat distraught. I would have approached somebody working in the store and asked for help, but common sense is rarely a tool in the average child's arsenal. Instead, I threw myself back into the churning hordes, hoping once again that I might find the arcade. And I do remember when I was a kid getting lost in a supermarket. It's weird that they call it a supermarket, but anyways, and becoming distraught when I lost sight of my parents, had to get help. This was about as well as you'd expect, and eventually I somehow found myself standing in the warm afternoon sunlight. I found my way outside the mall. I remember feeling a boost of confidence, the surrounding streets being noticeably more familiar to me. And thus, I began the arduous journey back home. We lived a short distance from where Diego lives now, roughly half an hour walk for an adult, but much, much longer walk for a tiny 6-year-old toiga. And then I hopped on the train out of here into Summersville. By this point, you're no doubt expecting that my intrepid expedition did not go as planned, and you would be right. It was early afternoon when I initially broke free, and we walked in the streets for at least a couple hours. During this time, I had gone around and around in circles, repeatedly greeted by the same streets I had not long conquered, a fact that only elevated my distress and fueled my desperation to find my way back home. I had not long conquered. It'd been just after 1 o'clock when I had initially broken free. By the time I found myself at the train station, the sun had begun setting. I was I was a very long way off course from my destination, and the darkest night loomed closer still. I could no longer make it home before nightfall, a considerable predicament, considering that I was afraid of the dark. I knew all too well my situation had grown desperate, and so I did the very thing a child would do best: cried. The train station was a desolate ghost town. Was it? Yeah. With the last train of the day having arrived an hour prior, I was all alone as I sat there terrified of the growing shadows around me, a face of disgraceful mess and tears and snot. Not a pretty sight, I can assure you. Didn't know what was going to happen to me. I remembered thinking that I would never see Grad again, that I would never make it back home, and that I would never get to eat McMelvins again. What can I say? 6-year-olds are not all that bright. I braced myself for the worst, conceded to my fate. The same monsters that lined the walls of the arcade began lurking in every bush, behind every pillar, and concealed within every indistinct shadow. I closed my eyes as terror got the better of me. I sat there, trembling as tears drenched the concrete between my legs. I longed for the comfort of home, the safety of Grand's loving embrace. I needed her more than I ever had before. It was then I recognized the sound of footsteps approaching. The monsters had emerged from the shadows. It had come to feast. That was it. I knew it was the end. There you are. I found you at last. Ah! Don't hurt me! Hurt you? Close-up CG? Oh, there you go. Ty's so small. I also just want to take a look at this. Okay. Dear me. Also, his beak is a lot shorter there. Or is that just my imagination? I would never do such a thing. You've nothing to fear from me, my young friend, and that's a promise. The first time I had ever laid eyes on that midnight raven in the rapidly fading evening light, my imagination had run wild, twisting his appearance into that of a terrifying and evil monster born of the darkness and made of pure shadow. But the warmth of those words quickly banished those thoughts from my mind, instead revealing the smiling face of none other than Apollo himself. Terrifying young children comes with the territory of crovids like him. Wait, is it crow called a crovid? Anyways, even now, it happens from time to time. Oh, I guess his beak was always that short? Okay, never mind. For some reason I thought it was like maybe 50% longer. I've been thinking of some other guy. May I ask your name, young man? Stranger danger. Oh my, you have been educated well. Stranger danger, as the slogan was in its peak of those days, which I suppose goes to show my age. Gran had always done a fantastic job teaching me about the many dangers a child could face, and I knew too well not to trust strangers. You know, they say a young man went missing from the mall this afternoon and has not yet been located. He has a 6-year-old tiger whose striking violet-colored eyes allow him to be easily distinguished. I don't suppose you know where I could find somebody like that, would you? I'm 6. So you are. And say, those are some particularly violet-covered eyes you have there. I do not suppose that you are the missing child, my young friend. Ty, I have to say, like, okay, let me put this sentence. I'm not against, I'm completely for those things where it's like, here's this missing child and it's whatever those things are on your phone. But it is kind of the thing, where it's like, there is somebody missing or maybe kidnapped. I can't remember what it would be called. In like this part of town, it's like, okay, our town is like several million people. But yeah, I'm totally for it. But it's like, yeah, I'm not sure what somebody would do in that. Well, like, I'm definitely not going to be able to do anything because, like, there's millions of people between me and where this child went missing. But if they had that thing in this people's time, it's like, oh, in a town of, like, 1,000? Yeah, you're probably going to you know, it's not a big town. Anyways, sorry for my diatribe. Hmm? My name is Taijin Sutherland, but Gran calls me Tai. Taijin? Is that a traditional name, if I'm not mistaken? Wait, that is a traditional name. Your kind has such marvelous customs. It's a shame that they are so rarely practiced in this part of the world. But look at me, at Waffle On. Is it Waffle? Huh. My name is Solomon. I am very pleased to make your acquaintance, Tai. I nervously looked up at Solomon without speaking a word. I still don't rightly trust him, but he remained unfazed as he continued to work his magic to earn my trust. Now then, my young friend, your poor grandmother is worried sick and will be very glad to have you home, safe and sound. You live in Aldwyn Street, correct? I did, but I did not yet feel comfortable saying so. Lucky for me, Solomon already knew exactly where I lived, just as he had already known my name, having only asked for my sake, and to be proper. As it would happen, Woodcrest Mall was something he had been the driving force for, providing most of the required capital from his own coffers. He had hoped it would attract new residents to Woodcrest, and indeed it did. Although it would not begin making profit for another 6 years, Solomon was typically hands-off with the mall's operations, and he was present for the grand opening to oversee the operation and ensure it was a smooth and successful launch. Things had been running like a well-oiled machine until Gran approached the mall management for help in Find Me. With everything otherwise well in hand, Solomon elected to lead the search himself, with a couple of staff helping him. After their initial searches inside the mall yielded no result, Solomon split off from those helping him, reasoning that I might have left the mall and tried to find my way back home. As would happen, he was exactly right. I wonder if that's because of his powers, you know? Dunno. Though Find Me at that situation was a lucky coincidence. He had been searching public places between the mall and my home, and simply happened upon the correct location with minutes to spare before the darkness could have rendered the search considerably more difficult. I know you do not trust me, but I am a friend. I want to help you get back home. Will you permit me to help you? I'm not supposed to get in cars with strangers too. That's okay. I'm not bringing one. I thought we could walk together. What do you say? By that point, it was not that I was unwilling to accept help, but more so that the sun had finally finished setting, and the fiery eyes having cooled to dark blue, as one by one the stars awakened from the slumber to shine brightly in the nighttime sky. The fire-red skies. Oh, skies. I thought it said eyes. The darkness, and what manner of untold horrors might lurk within, it terrified me, and apparently the fear was clearly visible on my face, considering that Solomon knew exactly what was wrong without having to say a single thing. I see, but morning is a long time away yet. We cannot simply wait for the sun to rise again. And just think how worried your grandmother will be if you do not return tonight. I think we should be on our way now. Do not fret. I'll be right beside you every step of the way. I'll keep you safe. That I promise. But what if they're ghosts? Ghosts? Well, if they say boo, then I might say it right back at them. I'm far scarier than any ghost. What about vampires? Oh, that is a good point. Vampires are a real pain in the neck. As a child, his choke had scaled completely over my head. Remembering it now, I find myself tickled pink. Ahem. You know that what vampires are more scared of than anything else? Big, scary tigers. Really? Really. And I bet you can be real scary if you try. I generally thought that vampires were terrified by tigers, until I was 8, of course. This was not the case, and vampires are not even real. Solomon just made this up on the spot to ease my fears. Stand up. I did as he asked, climbed my feet, and facing Solomon as he issued his next instruction. Good. Now imagine that vampire is coming, and he wants to suck your blood. No. Have no fear. It's easier to pale a vampire. All I have to do is sound really mean, and they will flee in terror. Tell me, have you learned how to roar yet? No. That's quite alright, because growling will work just as well. On the count of 3, I want you to scare a vampire away with your scariest growl. Can you do that for me? I'll try. Marvelous. Then, here we go. 1, 2, 3. The sound I made was completely pathetic, and would have intimidated nothing or nobody, let alone a vampire. But Solomon pretended otherwise. Oh, that was a fantastic tie. Sent a chill down my spine. That vampire did not stand a chance. Yay! But wait. Oh no, here comes another one. You know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Bravo. That's 2 vampires you've scared away. I must admit, I am scared too. Thankfully, I know you're nice and will not eat me. Are you a vampire? You look like a vampire. Oh dear, that isn't even the first time this week somebody has said that. I am no vampire, my young friend. Besides, where would my fangs even go? They would look funny on the end of my beak. And you know, being immortal, that sounds like a real drag, if you ask me. Haha, get it. Back then, I thought nothing of the statement, but in hindsight, I knew he was speaking from experience. Which is a weird twist this game made, where it's like, Diego's route is, here's these guys in a relationship. Ty's route, oh, so there were humans back in time, but then there was a nuclear war, but then a guy created animal things, or animal soldiers against his will, but then he created animals to take over the earth since all the humans are gone, but then he made immortals to try and watch over them, and then da-da-da. Now then, I will deal with the ghosts, and you can save me from the vampires. How does that sound? Yep. Excellent. Then let us be moving. Your grandmother will be so pleased to see you're safe. Solomon turned back towards me as I held out my hand, hoping that he would take it. I would feel safer if he did, and he was thankfully unopposed, reaching out and grasping my tiny hand in his. And finally we set off, leaving the train station behind and joining eastward. Journey Inc. Along the footpath, hand in hand, Solomon was extraordinarily tall compared to me, which meant he had to walk ludicrously slow to avoid pulling ahead. But if this bothered him, he gave no indication, his smile unwavering as the journey progressed. As the journey progressed through the dimly lit streets, Solomon went out of his way to maintain a conversation and a bit distract me from the oppressive darkness. At least we both be swallowed whole. Tell me, young man, what are your favorite things you do? You must have started school by now. Yes? Do you enjoy that? School? No, I hate school. Oh, come now. It cannot be that bad, can it? You get to learn all kinds of new things. Make new friends, too. Yeah, the kids are mean to us. Oh, I see. I understand kids can be cruel sometimes. Though, how do you mean by us? Me and Lucas. The other kids used to beat him up and make fun of him for living in an orphanage. I tried to stop him. That was very heroic of you. How'd that go? Now, they beat both of us up. Oh dear. But at least you made a friend out of it, right? Yeah. Lucas is my best friend. A best friend? Goodness me, how lovely. You see, there are some good things about school. What do the two of you have in common? I have no mom and dad either. I kinda know how you feel sometimes. But I'm really lucky. I have Gran. He doesn't have anybody. Oh my. Gran lets him come over whenever he wants. We have sleepovers all the time. He's always staying with us. Gran lets him because he doesn't want to go home to the orphanage. People there are nice, but he gets real lonely there. So he stays with us heaps. Gran takes us to a super secret place. Nobody knows where it is except for us. We play lots and lots there. And sometimes we play by the lake. Oh, and sometimes Gran takes us to the woods exploring. I see. It sounds like you and Gran are doing a fantastic job making young Lucas feel like part of the family. Yep. We don't have anybody else, so we gotta stick together. That way, none of us have to be lonely. That's a wonderful motto. Being lonely is very, very hard. I know this from experience. Lucas is very lucky to have you and Gran. Do you have any other family tie? No. Really? No brothers or sisters? Aunts or uncles? It's just you and Gran? Yep. You said you have no parents either. Do you know what happened to them? Where they might be? My mommy, her grave is in Sido Rian, and every time we go there on vacation, Gran spends hours there. I see. Did you ever know her? Do you like to visit her with Gran? No, and no. It's boring. Kids. What about your dad? Where is he? Gran doesn't talk about him. I think he did something bad. Oh, goodness. I'm truly sorry to hear that, Ty. But just think, you have Gran, right? And she does a good job of caring for you, does she not? Yep. Gran is the best Gran in the entire world. Wow, is she really? Uh-huh. She lets Lucas come around every day and stay for dinner, and even have lots of sleepovers. She tells lots of cool stories at bedtime. Do you enjoy bedtime stories? Yeah. Sometimes I can't sleep, and they help. Sometimes. Other times, she gives me this yucky drink. Oh my, what sort of yucky drink? I think she calls it Whisker. It tastes bad, and it kinda burns, but it always makes me sleep. I wake up with wicked hangovers the next day, though. Ah, that is a rather old-fashioned practice nowadays. Most likely, something your parents did when she was a child. I cannot argue with the results, though. What else do you like about living with your Gran? She cooks my favorite lasagna. Lasagna? What? Surely you mean lasagna. Don't laugh. Oh, I apologize. It was simply very cute, that's all. I'm not cute. I'm scary. Unleashed another of my oh-so-fearsome growls, something which seemed to only fuel Solomon's delight. He has gotten me so hyped up. A touch hyped up. Oh yes, very scary, which is why I feel so safe around you. I just know that no vampires will come near me, with you by my side. Hee hee hee. Now, lasagna, you say. Is that your favorite meal? Yep. I see. You know, I met an orange short hair a mere few weeks ago who told me the same thing. Must be a thing among orange cats. But I only like it when Gran makes it. The ones from the shops are yucky. My, a discerning customer no less. Tell me, what does Gran do that makes it so special? It's a little crunchy, but not too much. And she uses little pastas, not the gross big ones. You dislike the big ones? Yeah. Why ever not? Because they're yuck. Ah, I see. Yep, and wait, this is my street. So it is. And no ghosts or vampires saw fit to bother us. They must have been scared stiff of us. It would seem that we made quite the team. Heh, yeah. Solomon had done such a fantastic job of keeping my attention away from the surrounding darkness that my associated fear, instead of keeping me engaged in constant conversation. Not only that, but I had warmed up to him rapidly along the way. It was with a certain sense of sadness with which we turned onto the path which led to Grant's front door. I liked the strange man, and a part of me even wished we could talk. Our walk would have lasted a smidge longer, though for a time I had generally believed that I might never see home. The lights were on, and Grant was home, and the best kind of welcome I could have hoped for. I can read. Having finally reached the front door, Solomon turned towards me and knelt to my level once again. Now then, I know you dislike school, but I hope you'll learn something from today all the same. Tell me, what do you think you've learned, Ty? I can beat vampires. Wow. Ooh, so mighty. You sure can. And what else have you learned? What should you not do when you're at the mall with your gran? Not run away, but I want to see the arcade. And you would have, if you had not run away. Instead you got lost and missed out. Yeah. I want you to make a promise. Promise that you will never run away from your gran like that ever again. Can you do that for me? But why? Ty, trust me. Just promise me, okay? I grumpily shuffled my feet, humping and puffing in response to Solomon's patient smile, wore me down in silence. Fine. Fine what? I promise. What do you promise? That I won't run away. And do you really mean that promise? Yeah. Marvelous. In that case, I have something you might like. Solomon reached into his jacket, rummaged around in his internal pockets for a few brief moments before finally locating what he had been looking for, retrieving it from his coat and revealing it to me. Exclamation mark. I want you to have these. I was supposed to give these out as spot prizes, and I definitely would not have given you, and I definitely should not be giving you more than one of them, let alone 3. But I think it's justified, given the circumstances. Each of these tickets will get you 2 hours of unlimited play at the very arcade you so dearly wish to see. You will have plenty of time to try out everything, and then some. Reckon you can rack up enough tickets for a cool prize? Wow! Yeah, thanks! It is my pleasure, Ty. But remember, you promised, okay? Yep. Is it okay if I share with Lucas? Of course it is. I'm sure Lucas will be thrilled that you thought of him. Finally, Solomon climbed back to his feet, and I stared in awe as the tickets I held in my tiny hands. It was like my birthday and Christmas had come all at once. Part of me wondered if I should get lost more often instead. It was then that Solomon knocked on Grant's door, finally announcing our arrival. Now that our affairs had been settled, his knock prompted a frantic scuttling of feet, and the door opened with such velocity that it could come clean off its hinges. Ty! Oh, Ty, thank goodness you're safe. I was terrified something might have happened to you. Please, come inside, out of the cold. Oh yeah, this is a very grandma-looking house. With the couches that could have like some kind of felt on them. It's of leather these days. And it's green. These kinds of lamps. These kinds of just side tables that have that stuff. Yeah. Box of sweets or something. Solomon eyed distracted, stepping past the threshold without warning. Grant scooped me up and began squeezing me with such intensity I feared I might burst. For several moments she cried her tears of relief into my shoulders before she finally acknowledged, or perhaps even noticed, the midnight-hued raven standing patiently in the doorway. Thank you so much. I couldn't believe you found him and brought him home safely. Where'd you find him? I concede He had blown way off course. He'd found his way to the train station when I found him. He was no trouble, was he? Not one bit. Of that I can assure you. In fact, I would say we have become fast friends. Would you not agree, Ty? Yep. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I must find some way to repay you for this. Oh, please. That will be no... Oh, yes, I know. Just one moment. I'll be right back. Gran promptly lowered me to the floor and vanished into the depths of the house as quickly as she'd come back to the door only moments later. I looked up at Solomon and noticed a look of slight surprise on his face as his gaze focused on something behind me. And so I turned. Hey, it's Lucas. And there he was, my best friend. Then and there, still to this day. Of course, back in those days, he was as cute as a button and nowhere near as firm as he is now. He had his adorable mop of hair that rendered him blind more often than not. I wish you could see it. Ty, you got lost. Was it scary? It wasn't scary. I had Rowan to scare the ghosts away. What about vampires? I'm scarier than any vampire. Whoa. You must be Lucas. Ty here speaks highly of you. Is he a vampire? Oh, goodness me. Twice in one day. I suppose my appearance is quite frightening. But never mind. It's about time I gotta move on. Place to be, and all that. You know how it is. You stay safe, okay, Ty? And remember your promise. Yeah. Very good. And without further ado, I bid you farewell. Bye, Solomon. I'll miss you. And I you, my young friend. But fear not, I'm certain we'll meet again someday. And with that, I watched as Solomon slipped into the darkness, his jet-black plumage becoming one with the night as he vanished from sight. We had only known each other for such fleeting moments, but I feel strange sadness, like I was losing a close friend. I wondered myself if I would ever see him again, as Gran finally made her way with a jar of homemade cookies in hand, surprised to find her intended recipient gone without a trace. Oh, wherever did he? With a tinge of sadness and disappointment, Gran placed a jar of cookies on the counter before returning towards me and kneeling, just as Solomon had done, just as adults always did. I'm so glad you're safe. I was so worried. That man from the mall, he treated you well, didn't he? Yep. Solomon is super nice. Look, he gave me these. I held the arcade passes out for Gran to see. She squinted somewhat as she tried to read the print, her reading glasses in some unknown occasion about the house. He made me promise to never run away again. He gave me these when I did. That was very kind of him. I hope you said thank you. I did. Whoa, you're so lucky. We should go. Both of us? Yeah, it's way more fun that way. Yeah. Oh, Ty dear, Lucas has been ever so worried. You two should play for a bit, but not too late. It's a school night. Okay, hey, Gran? Yes, sweetheart? Do you think we'll ever see Solomon again? I certainly hope so. I never did get to thank him properly. And I owe him a jar of cookies. Hopefully we get to send him a jar of cookies. And with that on flashback, I think that's a good time to call it. And good thing I called it. You know, we weren't going to spend the entire episode of doing that, because that's what, like, let's see, it's 44 minutes, and the previous thing was 36 minutes, so that would be an hour long. So, and this Let's Play. So, please comment, because I like comments. Tell me what that was like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and likes it grow, then please subscribe and share the videos epic grow, please control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's available for free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that make this game, and or get the news version earlier, then you can go to Patreon. It's $5 a month, $54 a year. And until next time, I'll say, me, GamerWolfSix, Sileo, Tales of a New Dawn. So thanks and see ya.